If you have Medicare, do not ignore the mail you get in September. One document can reveal higher premiums, new drug costs, and changes to your coverage for 2027. Miss it, and you may not discover the problem until January. And this year, there is one additional change seniors need to watch very closely. September does not feel expensive. That is the trap. You go to the same doctor, pick up the same prescriptions, use the same insurance card. Nothing appears broken. Then January arrives. You refill a medication and the price on the screen is suddenly higher. You call for an appointment and learn the specialist you have seen for years is no longer in your network. Or the plan you barely thought about all year begins taking more from your retirement check every month. By then, the warning came and went. Medicare open enrollment begins October 15th. September is when you get the chance to see the problem before you are living with it. Because the most expensive surprise in January may already be sitting in your mailbox in September. It is called the Annual Notice of Change, or ANOC. Not exactly a name designed to make anyone race to the mailbox, but inside can be changes to the things retirees use every month. Your premium, your copays, your drug coverage, your provider network, even your plan service area. Now picture Frank and Mike. Both are 71. Both have used the same Medicare Advantage plan for years. Frank opens the ANOC. Mike recognizes the insurance company logo and tosses his aside. Nothing changed last year. But that is the surprise. Your plan does not need a new name to become a different financial deal. The card in your wallet can look exactly the same, while the network behind it changes. And the first time Mike realizes that may not be while reading an insurance document. It may be while someone is waiting for his credit card. That is why this envelope matters. It tells you where next year's surprises may already be hiding. Now Frank sees that his monthly premium changed. Naturally, that is where his eyes go first. But that may be the least important number on the page. Imagine the premium rises by $10. That looks like a $120 problem for the year. Not pleasant, not terrifying. But somewhere deeper in the plan, one medication is treated differently. Or the pharmacy 5 minutes from his house is no longer the best priced option. Suddenly, the $120 increase was not the real threat at all. It was the distraction, and in 2027, there is a reason that comparison matters even more. This is where Frank and Mike really start to separate. Frank sees a $25 monthly increase. Annoying, but not scary. Mike sees the same number and thinks, I can handle $25. Frank keeps reading. One prescription will cost about $40 more each month. Now the picture changes. $25 here, $40 there. Together, that's nearly $800 over a year. Not enough to ruin a retirement, but enough to quietly erase a weekend trip, a few dinners out, or part of the emergency cushion that was supposed to be there when the car needs work. And 2027 deserves even more attention because the temporary Part D premium stabilization demonstration ends after 2026. In plain English, one layer of protection against premium swings is going away. That does not mean every plan suddenly becomes expensive, but it does mean one dangerous assumption has to go. Next year will probably cost about the same. Frank sees the small numbers before they become a big one. Mike sees only $25. September is when the real 2027 prices start coming into view. That is when you stop guessing and start adding. But higher premiums and drug costs are still not the most expensive mistake in this video. There is another September notice, and this one can create a charge that does not disappear when the year ends. It can keep following you, month after month. Mike makes another very normal assumption. He already has prescription coverage, so Part D feels like something he can deal with later. Nothing happens, no warning light, no emergency. Then later becomes months. Months become years. And when Mike finally enrolls, he discovers that waiting created a bill. Go 63 days or longer without Part D or other creditable drug coverage after you are eligible, and a late enrollment penalty can begin building. Wait 4 years? That is 48 uncovered months. Using the roughly $41 national base premium for 2027, that can mean about $20 extra every month, around $240 in the first year alone. $20 does not sound shocking until you realize what Mike is buying with it. Nothing. No better medication, no better doctor, no extra coverage. Just another charge, month after month, year after year. And that is where the pain becomes real. Maybe $20 was the money that covered one prescription copay. Maybe it was the difference between filling the gas tank without thinking and watching the gauge for another week. The penalty can remain attached to his Part D premium as long as he has drug coverage. That is why 63 days is not a paperwork rule. It is a small leak that can follow you for years. And if you think Medicare is the only September mistake that can quietly take money from a retiree, it is not. There is another date coming just days later. This time, the envelope may not carry an insurance logo. It may say IRS. Frank has one more September habit. He checks his tax situation before assuming last year's numbers still work. Mike thinks the way many retirees do, taxes are an April problem. Not always. Think of taxes like a running tab. Money comes in all year. But if not enough tax is being paid along the way, the balance keeps building quietly in the background. Maybe you took extra money from an IRA. Maybe you sold investments. Maybe your pension simply is not withholding enough. Nothing feels wrong when the money hits your account. The problem appears later, when you discover the IRS expected part of it earlier. For many retirees, the next estimated payment date is September 15th. Miss a required payment or send too little, and the IRS can add an underpayment penalty. For the third quarter of 2026, the rate is 7%. But there is another side to this. Frank does not automatically send the same amount he paid last year. He checks whether the rules changed in his favor. If you are 65 or older, you may qualify for the new additional $6,000 senior deduction for 2026. For a qualifying married couple where both spouses are 65 or older, that can be $12,000. So September can punish you in two directions. Pay too little, and you may owe more than expected. Use last year's assumptions blindly, and you may miss a deduction that changes the math. The dangerous part is not the tax form. It is finding out too late that money you thought was yours was already spoken for. Then comes the number almost every retiree will hear about, the 2027 Social Security COLA. By September, headlines will start throwing around percentages. Some will sound certain. They are not. The official calculation still needs inflation data from July, August, and September. And September's number does not arrive until October. So every COLA percentage you hear before then is still an estimate. Maybe it turns out close. Maybe it does not. But here is why that matters. Suppose you mentally give yourself that raise before it is official. You start planning next year around it. A higher grocery budget, a little more breathing room. Maybe one bill finally feels easier. Then the final increase comes in lower. The disappointment does not hit once. It shows up in every monthly check. That is the difference between a headline and income. Until the final number is official, do not spend money that has not reached your account yet. January. Frank is at home drinking coffee. Mike is standing at the pharmacy counter. The pharmacist gives him the new price. Mike looks at the screen, then back at the pharmacist. That can't be right. It is. The medication costs more. The pharmacy he has used for years is no longer his best option. Then another charge hits, then another. Nothing destroys his retirement in one afternoon. That would almost be easier to notice. Instead, his budget starts leaking. $20 here, $40 there. A penalty that keeps coming back. A tax payment he did not expect. By spring, the money he normally used for dinners out is gone. The weekend trip gets postponed. He starts watching the grocery total more closely. Then the car needs tires. Now the problem is not the tires. The problem is that the small cushion that used to absorb surprises has already been eaten by costs he could have seen months earlier. That is what makes these changes dangerous. They do not always look like a financial emergency. They quietly remove your margin for the next one. Frank saw the changes while they were still numbers on paper. Mike sees them now as choices he has to give up. Same age, same starting point, same September. One man used the warning. The other is now paying for it. So when September arrives, open the Medicare letter, check the September 15th tax date, and ignore anyone pretending the Social Security number is final before the final inflation data exist. Because every one of these changes is easier to deal with while it is still information. Once it becomes a bill, your options get smaller. The pharmacy does not care that you missed the letter. The IRS does not care that you thought taxes were an April problem. And your retirement budget does not care that each increase looked small on its own. September gives you the warning. January sends the invoice.